Ever wondered if a ball python could make a perfect pet for you? These serpents have soared in popularity, especially among beginners and families with kiddos. Their non-venomous nature and typically docile demeanor make them quite the catch in the pet world. Not to mention their unique patterns and colors are a sight to behold. So, now you know why ball pythons are popular pets, but let's dive into some fun facts about these fascinating creatures. Have you ever questioned why they are called ball pythons? Well, the answer is quite fascinating. The name ball python is actually derived from the snake's instinctive defensive behavior. When a ball python feels threatened or stressed, it curls up into a tight ball, tucking its head inside its coiled body. This behavior is unique to this species and is a clever strategy to protect the most vulnerable parts of their anatomy from predators. Imagine, if you will, a snake that, instead of hissing or striking, chooses to roll into a compact ball. It's quite an endearing sight, and this particular behavior has endeared these snakes to reptile enthusiasts around the world. Hence, the name ball python perfectly captures this unique and fascinating characteristic of these snakes. It's a name that is not only descriptive but also intriguing, just like the creature it represents. So there you have it, the first fun fact about ball pythons. Now, let's move on to the next. Do you know how long a ball python can live or how big it can get? Let's dive right in. The lifespan of ball pythons is one of their most intriguing aspects. In ideal conditions, these fascinating creatures can live up to a whopping 30 years. Yes, you heard it right, 30 years. This makes them one of the longest living snake species. So if you're considering getting one as a pet, remember, it's a long-term commitment. You'll need to provide them with a healthy environment, proper care, and a balanced diet to ensure they live a long and happy life. Size-wise, ball pythons are relatively modest compared to some other snake species. They usually grow to be around 3 to 5 feet long. However, it's interesting to note that the females of this species are typically larger than the males. A female ball python can easily reach up to 5 feet or more in length, while males usually max out at around 3 feet. But don't let their size fool you. Despite being smaller in stature, they are robust and can easily hold their own in the wild. The size difference between male and female ball pythons is due to a biological phenomenon called sexual dimorphism. This is quite common in many animal species, where one sex is noticeably larger or smaller than the other. In the case of ball pythons, the females being larger is advantageous for reproduction, as it allows them to lay a larger number of eggs. So, the next time you see a ball python, remember, these are creatures of endurance and strength. Their impressive longevity and unique size differences between males and females are just a couple of the many reasons why they are so fascinating. And while they may not be the biggest or the longest living snakes out there, they certainly hold a special place in the world of reptiles. It's quite impressive, isn't it? Now, for our next fun fact. Are you curious about what a ball python likes to eat? Well, strap in, because it's quite the wild ride. In the wild, the diet of a ball python is as varied as the African landscape it calls home. These slithering connoisseurs dine on a scrumptious buffet of small mammals and birds. Their preferred meal ticket? Rodents, which they hunt using their keen sense of heat detection. In captivity, though, their gastronomic preferences lean towards a simpler, more consistent menu. Most pet ball pythons are fed a steady diet of, you guessed it, rodents. Usually these are mice or rats, served up once a week. The size of the meal depends on the size of the python. A rule of thumb is that the rodent should not be wider than the python's widest part. Now, I mentioned earlier that ball pythons are constrictors. But what does that mean exactly? Well, constrictors are a group of snakes that kill their prey, not by venom, but by squeezing. The ball python is a prime example of this. They sneak up on their meal, strike quickly, and then wrap their muscular bodies around their prey, squeezing until the unfortunate critter can no longer breathe. It's a bit gruesome, sure, but it's just another day in the life of a ball python. But don't worry, in captivity, your ball python's dinner will usually come pre-killed, sparing you the spectacle. Still, it's important to remember that these are carnivorous creatures with natural hunting instincts. They're not for the squeamish or the faint of heart. Feeding a ball python is all about balance. Too little and they'll lose weight, too much and they'll become obese. An obese ball python can suffer from a host of health problems, just like any other overweight animal. So, there you have it, the eating habits of the ball python, in the wild and in the comfort of your own home. It's a fascinating mix of natural instinct and learned behavior, a testament to the adaptability of these incredible creatures. Now that we know what they eat, let's discover more about their behavior. Have you ever noticed any unique behaviors in ball pythons? Now, that's a question that could open the door to a world of surprising revelations. These creatures aren't just aesthetically unique, but they also exhibit fascinating behavioral characteristics. For starters, ball pythons are nocturnal in nature. That's right, they are creatures of the night. While we humans are tucked in bed, dreaming away, these intriguing reptiles are just starting their day. Their nighttime activity is a survival strategy that has evolved over millions of years. Living in the wild, nighttime offers ball pythons the advantage of cooler temperatures and fewer predators. But that's not all. Their nocturnal behavior also impacts their feeding habits. Ball pythons hunt and feed primarily at night, using their keen senses to locate prey in the darkness. So, if you ever wondered why your pet python seems lazy and inactive during the day, it's not boredom, it's just their biological clock telling them it's time to rest. Switching gears, let's talk about their social behavior, or rather, the lack of it. Ball pythons are solitary creatures. They prefer to live alone, only seeking out company during the mating season. This solitary nature extends to their hunting habits as well. They are lone hunters, relying on their individual strength and skill to catch prey. It's important to remember that this solitary nature isn't a sign of antisocial behavior. On the contrary, it's a testament to their survival strategy. In the wild, being solitary reduces the chances of encountering predators and competing for resources. For captive ball pythons, this behavior means they don't require the company of other snakes to thrive. These unique behaviors of ball pythons, their nocturnal lifestyle, and solitary nature are just a few of the many reasons why they are such fascinating creatures to observe and understand. Each behavior is a piece of the puzzle, revealing the complex and intriguing world of these reptiles. Fascinating, isn't it? Now, on to our last fun fact. Lastly, did you know that ball pythons have an extensive range of color and pattern variations? Yes, indeed they do. And this is where our adventure into the vibrant world of ball python morphs begins. To understand the concept of morphs, we must first delve into the fascinating realm of genetics. You see, a morph in the world of reptiles is a genetic mutation that results in a change in the animal's appearance. In ball pythons, these changes manifest in a myriad of intriguing colors and patterns, making each morph distinct and unique. Now, imagine walking into a ball python gallery, each snake a living, slithering canvas of art. You'd find morphs like the albino, a striking specimen with a pure white body and piercing red eyes, a stark departure from the typical earthy hues of a common ball python. Then there's the spider morph, with its high contrast black and white pattern resembling a spider's web. But the spectacle doesn't end there. Enter the piebald, a ball python that looks like it was splashed with patches of unpainted canvas amidst its usual colors. This is due to a genetic condition that causes a lack of pigmentation in certain areas of their body, resulting in those white patches. And let's not forget the blue-eyed leucistic, a ball python morph that's completely white with enchanting blue eyes, almost ethereal in its appearance. Each of these morphs and many others result from specific genetic combinations. Breeders often aim to produce these unique variations, adding an extra layer of intrigue to the already captivating world of ball pythons. So the next time you look at a ball python, remember, you're not just looking at a snake. You're looking at a living, breathing testament to the wonder of genetics and the diversity of life. That concludes our list of fun facts about ball pythons. Now you're equipped with some interesting trivia about these remarkable creatures. So, to recap, we've learned that ball pythons are indeed great pets. Their name originates from their unique defensive posture, and they can live up to 30 years, growing up to 5 feet long. They have a fascinating diet, mainly consisting of small mammals, and exhibit interesting behaviors like balling up when threatened. Plus, their color and pattern variations are simply stunning. And with that, we've reached the end of our journey into the fascinating world of ball pythons. Thanks for joining us, and remember to subscribe for more exciting content.